Well, let's now join Arise News analyst, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi, who, of course, is an Arise News analyst and also a lecturer at Bayes University, and also OLUSEGUN DADA. He's an aspirant for the National Youth Leader of the All Progressives Congress, as we discuss these issues a bit further. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me in the studio tonight. And I want to start with you, Dr. Adeniyi, really, talking about Alimodu Sheriff, stepping aside, and the reason he's giving, he says, you know, going by the party's zoning formula, looking at that report by the governor of Kwara State, Abdul Razak, it's actually zoned the chairmanship of the party to the North Central. He says this is the reason why. So should we expect more, you know, to step aside, looking forward the coming week as we look forward to the convention of the ruling APC?
Well, I think if we look at history, really, when political parties are about to have their officials, most of the time they emerge through consensus, you know, and that consensual process will have been covertly or overtly, you know, guided from the center of authority, and in this case, the national leader. In this case, the presidential, from the president, as the case could be, because the national chairman, you know, is supposed to be guided by the president, while the state leaders are ordinarily guided by the governors, from what we've had them said. So consensus is very, very important, whether or not there's a committee that have decided that it should come from the North Central. So just acquiescing to the expectations of the body language of the president, like Alimodu Sheriff has decided to do, I think it's just you know, the right path to toe, instead of wasting energy, dissipating resources, you know, and it has a way of quickening the process, you know, reducing the tension, the anxiety that usually attends such process. So expectedly, like you said, we'll see more of the aspirants coming down, in difference to the presidential preference, you know, for somebody from the North Central, and beyond Alimodu Sheriff, who is ordinarily from the Northeast. We'll expect other aspirants from the North Central to also change their mind, you know, probably in difference to the presidential preference as well. So at the end of the day, we might just have one person, you know. The chairmanship of a party is a very central, critical position that you do not expect the regular contestation to happen around it, you know. So some other offices, we might have some contestation. Yeah, we know that in a democracy we need to have an electioneering process, but of course consensus is also a legitimate way of having these officials emerge, you know, because it reduces tension, helps quicken the process, you know, and maybe help them to prepare for the next task ahead. And what is this task? The task of electing flag bearers, you know, for the respective office in the general elections, as the case could be.
And of course, that's how we saw, you know, a chairman emerge back in 2018, looking at Adams Oshiomhole.
Definitely,
you know, he was unceremoniously removed, looking at all of that. But I want to come to you right now. You are aspiring to become the National Youth Leader of the All Progressives Congress. I do know that your party has made some concessions for the youth in your party in terms of slashing down, you know, the cost of some of the forms for certain positions. But do you think what the party has done right now is enough to actually see more youths emerge in key positions of the APC come the 26th of March when you hold your convention?
Okay, so we are very confident that the party is going to make these concessions. We had a Progressive Youth Conference last year in at the ICC, and it was attended by the Vice President, the representative of the President, National Caretaker Chairman, all of the major party leaders. And in that meeting we came up with a communique which was presented to the party leaders and adopted by them, which basically stated that young people should be given better opportunities to be able to hold decision-making positions within the party. Now, the position of the National Youth Leader is a statutory youth position. Now, we are looking at a situation where we'll be able to, at the very least, deputize most of the NWC positions, where we'll be able to learn the processes, because the whole purpose of all of this is ensuring that the way things are done in our party is passed down, and you can't learn by sitting at the back seat. So we the young people of the party, and you know, the president had a meeting with the National Youth Lobby Committee of the party, and he basically made it clear that his government was going to focus more on ensuring that young people take control or are giving a part or their piece or their parts of the party. And basically that's what we are expecting is going to happen at the forthcoming convention.
Right, but before the convention right now, the truth is, let's not forget that INEC has released its timetable in terms of where you're supposed to have certain, positions filled, especially your presidential aspirants. But for the fact that your party doesn't have its organs in place at the moment, is that a source of concern to members like yourself of the APC?
Well, it's not a source of concern because I am 100% confident in my party. We have surmounted insurmountable challenges. In the past, when this party started, I started with the party as well, as a legacy member of one of the parties that formed the APC. One of the presidential spokespeople, is person of Dr. Donyo, said, if APC lasts for more than 1 year, it should be called a particular name. And up till now, we are going to be 10 next year.
Well, yes. But at the end of the day, there are still fears.
We have challenges.
Even coming from the president, he has alluded to the fact that you have challenges in the party.
So basically, the party is a political network. And there's going to be some issues, some bombs here and there.
But nothing insurmountable.
Nothing insurmountable. Right. The president has made it very clear that the 26th of March convention date is sacrosanct.
Absolutely.
And all the party organs, I purchased my form, I've submitted my form, we're waiting to be screened, and everything points to the fact that there's going to be a convention on Saturday.
And of course, the court has actually agreed to you to have that. But let me come back to you, Dr. Adeniyi, right now. But, he's talked about the APC, but let's also talk about the PDP. Yes, it has its organ in place, but that doesn't mean that everything is all uhuru in the party. Looking at the fact that micro-zoning is still a major challenge. I know they had a marathon meeting on Wednesday because I was a part of it, from the BOT to the NEC to, the NWC. They all had marathon meetings, but no consensus was reached in terms of where, the tickets, especially for the president, should be zoned. A 37-member committee was set up, and they have 2 weeks to come up with some sort of report. Do you think the PDP will be able to get its acts in order without any sort of implosion within the party? That is the big questions the Nigerians need to know right now.
It's a valid question, valid concern, Amaka, because PDP is one of the behemoths, and it's also in the interest of our democracy that they have everything going on smoothly. But like you said, it may not happen because there are divergences of opinion within PDP now. Should the zoning be based on, region, or should we just be concerned about winning an election and not bother about where the candidate is going to come from? So that seems to be the question that PDP is dealing with now. And of course, like you said, they have set up a committee, a zoning committee. But do not forget that while this committee is being set up, our candidates are already purchasing tickets, preparing for the presidential election. So if at the end of the day, you're not going to say, the committee is going to zone the presidential slot to a different region that is not favorable to those who have bought ticket, are you not going to refund their money, or are you going to ask them to drop the ambition? It's going to be very difficult. So PDP, might just be in a kind of dilemma, but we should be confident that she'll be able to resolve it. And how will they resolve it? I think it's just best, to throw it open, to throw the presidential elections open. Yeah, of course.
Well, that is a suggestion by the Bala Mohammed-led committee.
Absolutely.
They said throw it open. Let anyone who feels
and of course, because before now we've been agitating for the shift of presidential power to the south. And if you are shifting it to the south, where are you going to shift it to? It should be the southeast. But there seems to be the signs are not clear that it's going to go to the south. So if it's not going to the south, okay, let's just adhere to the ideal tenets of democracy by letting the cards, leaving it open, as the case could be.
And of course, Atiku Abubakar, who was their flag bearer back in 2019, says, you know what, the PDP has had more presidents from the south compared to the north. So he says he qualifies that.
Valid argument.
But let me come back to you right now in the studio.
Yes.
You aspiring for the youth leader position at the APC, and of course we've seen major contenders for the presidential tickets emerge, and most of them are not youths. So would you say that the youths are still in the race to actually take over power in 2023?
Okay, so this is the thing. We are not looking to take over anything. We are looking to be a part of the decision-making process. There's an age bracket for who is going to be president of this country, constitutionally, even with the not too young to run bill. So the young people in our party are focused on what we are going to get. everybody who is contesting or who is aspiring to be president in our party is eminently qualified to be president. And it will be out of place for young people in our party to make it a contest of, oh, I'm with this person, I'm with that person. There are people who have their biases, don't get me wrong. But the truth of the matter is the young people of our party are more focused on ensuring that the mistake of 2013 does not repeat itself. And what's the mistake? The mistake is that when this party was formed, we put our efforts, all the young people in the party put their efforts in ensuring that we sold our party, we branded our party to young people of our generation and got our candidates elected. And not at no point did we have a sit down with our leaders to have an official negotiation that's what is our place going to be in this party. So basically what we have is a situation where we are focused on trying not to make that mistake. Now, when I started running for this office, it had not been zoned to the Southwest. We had a lot of people running for the office, and I was so impressed because I saw a lot of young people coming out from all over the country, coming out to aspire for national youth leader position. And if you look at the manifesto of every of these people, you know, they were engaging young people like themselves. The manifestos were clearly stated. We want to renegotiate our place within the party. And
you've done that now? When
the zoning was done, we have to get into the NWC before we do that. So when the zoning was done, like my brother said, consensus is a good thing. When the zoning was done, most of the northern youth leader aspirants, about 19 of them from both the north and south, all collapsed their structures and decided, you know, to support me. So this is basically us showing example to some of the people who are our leaders. So.
Right, and of course the president being the de facto leader of the party is actually in support of consensus. We'll wait and see how that will play out for your party. But for now, Dr. Abiodun Adeniyi and of course OLUSEGUN DADA, an aspirant for the national youth leader of the APC. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight.